Competitor, you know he's gonna talk smack. I love it. I told him we talked out the game and throughout the game, like, that's his team now. So he gonna be a star in this league. Already a star. So you enjoy it when you playing against a guy like that. That's can give you a little smack talk back, but you also gotta kind of let him know he's still a rookie. I told him that. He was like,
what went down on that field felt straight up forbidden in spirit, like something you're not supposed to witness in broad daylight. Shedeur Sanders turned the entire game into his own highlight marathon, and Jeffery Simmons smashed the respect button so hard the echo rippled across the league. When top-tier defenders start clapping instead of trash-talking, you already know something crazy just happened. People keep asking what Simmons saw out there, and trust me, it wasn't just numbers on a screen. This reaction spoke louder than any stat sheet ever could.
Man, with a left tackle, maybe a couple guards, and a true playmaker up there alongside Fannin and Judy, and all of a sudden you could have the only thing you need, which is a league average offense.
Well, and think about it. Everyone's like, oh, the offensive line looked so good yesterday. They looked good for 3 weeks. And first off, I don't think that's an accident that now all of a sudden everyone starts to look good. But Shedeur was still pressured on 64% of his plays. Mm-hmm. That's the highest rate Tennessee has had all season long. Like, they were...
From the very first snap, Shedeur was snatching momentum out of thin air, and it was clear immediately this was not going to be a calm, respectful afternoon of football behavior. This was one of those games that makes defensive coordinators freeze up and stare into space like their whole plan just evaporated. You could almost see them mentally replaying every decision that led to this moment. And every time pressure showed up, Shedeur brushed it off like background noise from a corny commercial. By the second quarter, the defense looked like it was under a live audit. Coverage cracked, angles vanished, and fully paid professionals were left sprinting after nothing but Shedeur's and frustration. Shedeur wasn't just pushing the ball downfield. He was hitting nerves and confidence at the same time.
Against the Titans.
He's been a competitor all his life. You a fan of his family, especially with Dion. Them guys were right there in my backyard in Jackson State. So, I was kind of watching them, especially when they was at Jackson State. So I've been knew he was a competitor. It's the reason why you see the pre-draft.
Every drive felt like proof that calm control can be scarier than pure chaos. No panic, no rushing, just sharp, clean decisions that made entire stadiums gasp in sync. Then came that moment you always recognize, when even the toughest defenders let out a long breath through the face mask and shake their heads. The kind of look that quietly says, I did everything right and it still didn't matter. That's when Jeffery Simmons stopped being just another opponent and became a front-row witness to a straight-up football showcase. Because when a defensive force like Simmons shows public respect after the game, lines were crossed in the best way possible. Defensive linemen aren't built to hand out compliments like candy. Their whole mindset is about disruption, pressure, and wrecking a quarterback's day.
A good 8 to 12 throws in that game that just made you go, wow, or made you go, damn. Like, that's what he got. And this has just only been the sample size we had. So outside of the stats, man, I was just really, really excited to see him continue to take that next step. I go back to an interview he had the week of his first start, and he talked about, man, hey, I'm a hands-on learner, right? Got to get out there and get my feet wet. And just kind of like.
For someone like that to step outside that mode means the performance pushed past debate and landed deep in the zone of undeniable greatness. Shedeur didn't just handle pressure. He played with it like he already knew how the story would end. He welcomed it in, let it get comfortable, then sent it packing with a laser throw while the blitz screamed off the left side. He slid right like the defense had sent a formal invite, hoping zone coverage would trap him. Shedeur declined immediately and added interest on the throw. He wasn't guessing out there, he was reading the field in real time, like every play came with captions only he could see. That's why Jeffery Simmons' reaction hit different. This wasn't hype talk or internet noise chasing clicks. This was real respect earned the hard way, after spending an entire game trying to turn a quarterback into abstract art and coming up empty. Simmons saw it all up close, the pocket movement, the vision under heat, the patience that makes defenders feel stuck in slow motion.
He might have had a better game than any other quarterback in the NFL. But despite all that, to tie the game,
Cleveland takes him out. What are we doing? This is the same thing as the first week he was starting. They get in the red zone and they go wildcat with Quinshon Judkins. Stop that, Kevin Stefanski. It doesn't work. This isn't high school. This isn't college football anymore. This is the NFL. We see it all the time with bad organizations like Cleveland.
That kind of respect only shows up when nothing you try actually works. While fans argued online about box scores, Shedeur was busy making the stat sheet feel small. The numbers only told part of it. The rest lived between the snaps, in the hesitation that crept into defenders' steps and the way coverages started drifting just slightly off script. That half-second pause said everything words couldn't. Pressure packages kept showing up just a beat too late. Some quarterbacks survived by leaning into chaos. Shedeur controlled the game with structure and timing. He didn't look like he was running from defenders. He looked like he was thinking circles around them in real time. The defense kept switching the questions, and Shedeur kept answering before they finished asking. By halftime, the tone had flipped completely. The defense wasn't hunting anymore, it was reacting. There's a mental switch that flips when a quarterback controls the tempo so hard that the defense forgets who's supposed to be in charge. That's when the pocket stops feeling tight and those so-called risky windows start looking like wide-open doors. Through all of it, Shedeur looked almost disrespectfully calm. No frantic scrambling, no jittery feet, just smooth slides and tiny steps that turned near sacks into extended highlights right in front of everyone. He wasn't running from danger, he was redirecting it like traffic. Jeffery Simmons felt that up close on every rush that came up just short, and every moment Shedeur slipped away enough to turn pressure into punishment. That kind of experience sticks with a defender. It follows you back to the bench, shows up in film study, and sits in your head as a quiet truth that some problems can't be solved with pure strength alone. As the game went on, the crowd shifted from hype to straight disbelief, the kind reserved for performances that don't feel real until the final whistle proves they were.
That started to turn the tide within the organization. And if he really can prove that he is this gamer and he is this playmaker, then maybe they don't need to draft that quarterback. He's got 4 more chances to show that he is the guy. And, I was very impressed with that game. I just thought that he did so many things. One of the other things, in addition to the elusiveness, is that when he does have a big, bad, scary defender bearing down on him.
Shedeur wasn't just piling up completions. He was stacking confidence drive by drive. Every successful series didn't just move the chains, it chipped away at the defense's belief. Simmons, with all his power and reputation, ended up watching a full masterclass in controlled chaos. Not reckless throws, not desperate choices, just patient snaps breaking the defense down piece by piece. And when it was over, when the noise faded and the adrenaline cooled, the praise didn't come from being polite, it came from real recognition. One elite player looking at another and saying, "I saw exactly what happened out there, and I'm not pretending otherwise." That reaction hit the league harder than any highlight clip ever could, because fans expect hype, defenders don't. Fans chase storylines like trends, but defenders live with consequences every snap. Jeffery Simmons wasn't reacting to some clipped-up moment for the timeline. He was reacting to 4 full quarters of frustration that never turned into relief. What made the whole thing feel unreal was how easy Shedeur made it look while breaking down every defensive look thrown at him. Man coverage collapsed, zone coverage softened, and disguised pressure packages got exposed like weak secrets that couldn't survive daylight.
The Browns coaching staff still found a way to screw Shedeur. At this point, I really can't express how bad the organization and the coaching staff is in Cleveland. I mean, we seriously just watched Shedeur have the greatest Cleveland quarterback performance in years. Like, what are we wasting all those games on Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel for when you had this on the bench? And yes, he's going against the Titans and also going against the #1 pick, and he outplayed him thoroughly.
Every adjustment meant to confuse him only made the picture clearer. That's the cold truth behind defensive praise. It doesn't care about hype markets or follower counts. It only respects what actually hurts. And this game hurt badly. Shedeur didn't just stay calm under pressure, he made pressure feel outdated. Escaping a rush with speed is one thing, but erasing it with timing and anticipation is different level work. He wasn't snapping ankles or trucking defenders. He was breaking assumptions snap after snap. By the fourth quarter, the defense looked like it was chasing an old version of Shedeur instead of the one right in front of them. Every step he took rewrote pursuit angles in real time. Every throw released just a split second early made the pass rush feel late to its own meeting. That's when the conversation quietly shifted from a strong performance to something heavier. This wasn't loud dominance or flashy chaos. This was control without noise. Shedeur didn't need extra theatrics because the entire game had already turned into his highlight reel, and Simmons knew it. When a defensive star gives that kind of acknowledgement, it sends a message through locker rooms across the league. Film rooms get quieter. Coaches rewind plays more carefully, and everyone watches with a little more caution than before. Game plans get thicker and the energy shifts fast because now Shedeur isn't just a name with promise, he's a real problem that already embarrassed elite resistance. The wild part is how casual it all looked from the outside. No chest pounding, no non-stop gestures, just quiet talks at the line. Quick scans and instant recalculations that made world-class athletes look like they were waiting on instructions that never came. Shedeur turned anticipation into a weapon. He threw receivers open before they even realized they were open, trusting windows most quarterbacks wouldn't touch without a safety net, all while never looking rushed. That balance between confidence and calm is what separates flashy moments from truly dangerous ones. Flash disappears, but control sticks in a defender's memory. Simmons didn't need to peek at the stat sheet to understand what happened. He lived it snap by snap. He felt the timing, the ball arriving just out of reach again and again. He felt the quiet disrespect of perfect placement, the kind that doesn't scream but still stings. There's an unspoken rule in football culture. You don't compliment something that didn't challenge you. Praise is saved for moments that force growth or demand respect. Simmons' reaction didn't just lift Shedeur up, it confirmed the unease spreading through defensive meeting rooms everywhere. Fans felt it too, even if they couldn't explain it yet. The crowd wasn't only celebrating scores, they were reacting to control, to the feeling that the outcome was being decided by someone who never looked stressed making the call.
There's no doubt about that. Shedeur looks the part to me. He plays big. His arm looks strong. I know he's not perfect at every decision and all that, but I think he's got a great overall feel for the game. If the guy's open, he's going to hit it. The interception he threw was bad. That was his only bad mistake of the day, and I think that led to the Pollard 32-yard touchdown run that might have put them up 21-17, if I remember correctly. But
Shedeur didn't win with spectacle, he won with certainty. That's what shook everyone. Every time the blitz tried to speed him up, he slowed the game down. Every time coverage tried to bait a risky throw, he answered with patience and precision. The defense kept rolling the dice, and Shedeur kept reading the table like he already knew the outcome. Standing on the other side of that chessboard, Jeffery Simmons saw the game for exactly what it was. This wasn't wild, athletic chaos or lucky escapes. This was calculated dominance hiding behind a calm face. By the end, the defense looked tired in places conditioning can't fix. That deep mental exhaustion that comes from guessing and still being wrong every time. That kind of fatigue sticks longer than any hit ever will. Shedeur walked off the field with the same steady energy he brought onto it. No victory laps, no loud gestures, just the posture of someone who knew the job was done well before the clock hit zero.
For making it happen, and he should have been the first overall pick. Cam Ward struggling at Tennessee. I promise you Shedeur wouldn't be struggling at Tennessee the way Cam Ward is. I liked Cam Ward. I love Shedeur. When he gets his shot, he will seize it and make them all look like fools.
And I think there's something to be said for that too. He was hit 14 times and he dusted himself off, got back up and did it over again and brought them back.
The aftermath spread faster than the final whistle. Analysts rushed to rewrite their takes. Fans scrambled to crown new heroes. But the most telling moment came from a defender who had no reason to be impressed. Simmons didn't speak like a fan. He spoke like someone who spent an entire game trying to stop something that simply refused to slow down. That's what made this performance heavier than just another strong showing. This crossed the line from exciting to instructive. Future defenses will study this game not to admire it, but to avoid ever feeling that helpless again. Shedeur didn't just earn respect, he earned caution. The kind that changes how aggressively defenses play. The kind that forces coordinators to trade pressure for containment. Blitz-heavy schemes start looking risky. Tight man coverage feels like a gamble. And soft zones start looking like open invitations to get quietly dismantled. That's the real impact of elite quarterback play. It doesn't just win games, it changes the math. Simmons' praise was the stamp that turned admiration into full acknowledgement, sending a clear message that this wasn't hype built on easy competition. The defense kept rolling the dice, and Shedeur kept reading the table like he already knew the outcome. Standing on the other side of that chessboard, Jeffery Simmons saw the game for exactly what it was. This wasn't wild athletic chaos or lucky escapes. This was calculated dominance hiding behind a calm face.
But all in all, I think he knows his team and knows, what he's expected on the offensive side of the ball, and he made some plays. And that's he's going to make Cleveland think twice about what they're going to do here at the quarterback situation if he can continue to build off of this the next 4 weeks.
Yeah. By the end, the defense looked tired in places conditioning can't fix. That deep mental exhaustion that comes from guessing and still being wrong every time. That kind of fatigue sticks longer than any hit ever will. Shedeur walked off the field with the same steady energy he brought onto it. No victory laps, no loud gestures, just the posture of someone who knew the job was done well before the clock hit zero. The aftermath spread faster than the final whistle. Analysts rushed to rewrite their takes. Fans scrambled to crown new heroes. But the most telling moment came from a defender who had no reason to be impressed. Simmons didn't speak like a fan. He spoke like someone who spent an entire game trying to stop something that simply refused to slow down. That's what made this performance heavier than just another strong showing. This crossed the line from exciting to instructive. Future defenses will study this game not to admire it, but to avoid ever feeling that helpless again. Shedeur didn't just earn respect, he earned caution. The kind that changes how aggressively defenses play. The kind that forces coordinators to trade pressure for containment. Blitz-heavy schemes start looking risky, tight man coverage feels like a gamble, and soft zones start looking like open invitations to get quietly dismantled. That's the real impact of elite quarterback play. It doesn't just win games, it changes the math. Simmons' praise was the stamp that turned admiration into full acknowledgement, sending a clear message that this wasn't hype built on easy competition.